Where does the president go from here? I know the guy who knows a thing or two about it. Mick Mulvaney was the president's former chief of staff, NewsNation contributor as well. Hello, sir.
Hello, Berman.
So the executive orders, they came out fast, right? And the president had years and his team to sit back and say, okay, if we get this again, how do we do it? And we saw how they did it with those EOs flying out. But I'm looking at the Fed, wait and see. Putin, wait and see. Litigation, wait and see.
Yeah.
Put your chief of staff hat on for me right now with approaching the second month. Where does Donald Trump go from here?
It's all going per plan except Ukraine and Russia.
Okay.
They knew they were going to get pushback from the courts on this. They know how the system works. They know the Republicans would fight Democrats just like Democrats are fighting Republicans on policies like immigration. They knew that was going to happen. Part of the plan. Okay. The wait and see right now on the tax bill, they knew that was going to happen too. They had to clear the decks with the CR, that funding bill,
short-term funding
to prevent the government shutdown last week. That had to go first. They knew the tax bill would have to go into the spring and probably into the summer. Again, per plan. The Russia thing is different. I think they really thought they might have a deal on Russia by now. I think they were a little surprised when they didn't get a full ceasefire deal here this past week. So I think, listen, in what they do for a living, the 9 out of 10 isn't bad. So I'm not saying it's a major difficulty that they had to have to deal with Russia, but I think that's the only one that sticks out.
If you think it's not going according to plan, you know Trump very well.
Yeah.
Where do you think this potentially heads? I know you can't get inside the mind of Vladimir Putin, but where do you think this potentially heads, and why do you think it hasn't gone according to plan?
I think you end up with a deal that everybody knows, which is that Ukraine gives up some land, Ukraine gets closer to the West, what that looks like. By the way, I think this idea about rare earth minerals, we just reported here a few minutes ago that Trump suggested that maybe if American companies own the power plants, makes them a lot less likely for Russia to attack them. He's right about that, just like he is about rare earth minerals. If Alcoa is pulling stuff out of the ground, or American mining companies, there'll be less chance of more Russian aggression.
So here's what I'm also looking at. Tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, April 2nd, that's what, 2 weeks from now. Businesses and markets will absolutely hate that. They hate it now, they'll hate it then.
True.
Rate cuts probably later this year. We don't know, but businesses and markets would love that. They'd like to see interest rates come down. Tax cuts later this summer, probably we'll see. Again, business and markets would love that. So what's the playing field right now for President Trump?
The playing field right now, I think, is mostly tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts. You worry about stuff you can affect, right? They'll talk about the Fed lowering interest rates, and yes, they want them to do it. I don't think it's as likely as even the Fed is saying, because I just think inflation is still out there. But you work on the stuff you can control, and right now they have an impact on that building, and that building needs to deliver them the tax cuts. That's, I think, the priority.
I remember Rick Scott's campaign message when he first got into politics: jobs, jobs, jobs.
Yeah.
You say tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts.
Right now, it's the next in line. It's what he promised. He wants to continue to delivering on those promises. It's going to be the priority going into the spring.
Catch you later in the show. Mick Mulvaney,
here,
NewsNation contributor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.